Hey, it's 12 volt trains here. I'm really excited. This is my first introductory video. You can see right in front of me is 7715. Sorry, you can hear it in my voice. You can see it on my face. I'm very anxious and thrilled to be bringing you this. This is my very first train here. And what I'm going to do is explain how this train here basically evolved into my love of 12 volt trains and my continued love of Lego trains in general. So back in the 80s, when I was around 10 years old, it was Christmas season, and back then there was only two ways to figure out basically what sets were available. You could walk around the stores, and not all the stores, like back then Sears, the other department stores, they didn't all have the whole Lego collection. Toys R Us, I'm from Canada, so Toys R Us was a good source. There'd still be some stuff that they didn't have. There was no online, there was no, you could not just go to the World Wide Web and say, hey, what does Lego build this year? So for me, I saw this on the shelf, immediately was smitten, wanted the passenger train. In Canada, we only were blessed with two trains in the mid 80s, let's say. We had the push-along train, which is the passenger train right in front of you right now. And we also had set 7722, which is the cargo train. For me, I was under the impression that this train here, once combined with I'll bring it over here, the battery pack and the 4.5 volt motor, would basically be like the cargo train set, except for obviously passenger. It's not quite as, it doesn't integrate quite as well, because you don't have like, you either have to hold this or you have to have a car, basically build a car to carry this, and it's bulky and ugly. It's, I would say 7 studs wide, because it's got 6 on the top wide, but then there's a few extras. Half the time I just end up carrying it around with the train. It actually looks a lot better just in the push mode, but obviously it doesn't do anything or animate in any way, shape, or form. So if you're in the 80s, this was your book. For me being from Canada, my book on the back, it basically specifies how you can buy service parts from and write and send checks to basically the Samsonite factory in Stratford. So if you have anyone telling you that Justin Bieber is the only good thing that's come out of Stratford, Legos come from Stratford as well. So basically, that's what I got. I got the set. I remember being so excited, like opening it up. I had no idea. Minifigs had suitcases. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. When I was asking for it for Christmas, my parents basically said, no, this is too much money. It was $49.95 for the train, another $49.95 for the battery packs. Probably multiply that by 2 for all the inflation we've had since. And I basically ended up striking a deal with my parents. They said, your kid sister's not getting gifts this expensive, so if you're really serious about this set, you will forgo you'll forgo a birthday gift and get both of these sets for Christmas instead. And when your birthday comes along in the summer, then no birthday gift. So basically, I showed the commitment. I remember when my birthday came, my mom reminded me again, we made the deal with you, and I stayed to that. I remember getting a sweater or something from my parents, but nothing big. I love the set. I was really huge on the set. The thing that was even bigger on is, and what kind of changed my trajectory in terms of my liking of Lego, is with this set came this piece of paper. I'm just gonna hold that up. In North America, we did not see the other trains. We basically, our catalog had our sets in it that were available to us, and none of the sets that were available to all of you in Europe and in Australia and a number of other countries. This is obviously from 85 plus. You can see on the top, there's actually my sets up here. in the background, there's 7735, which is a diesel train that's 12 volt. And in the foreground is the ever-present high-speed 7745 train with the double crossing. I remember looking at this and just going, wow. And this, what you're looking at, is actually the original one I had as a kid, as a 10-year-old. So if you see all the tape on here, it's literally because it's been unfolded and folded so many times for me studying it and wanting to build this stuff, wanting to find this stuff even, because in the 80s, like, we had no idea. Like, my friends, myself, any kid from the 80s in the Americas had no idea that this stuff existed. Now on the rear side, it obviously details like all the little sets. So the thing that I love actually is you can see the kid at the top. Let's call him the big brother. You can see he's more mature and he's in control of this 12 volt thing. Maybe it's the expression on his face, but even though he's just holding the dial there, he really looks in control. He looks like someone to look up to. So when I was younger, I kind of aspired to be this kid. The kid at the bottom, he's got the 4.5 volt, and it's a little simpler, and he's just more along for the ride, having some fun. Obviously, I was studying this as well, like just looking at the stoplight. Like, I was amazed as an adult finding out that like the stoplight actually stopped your train. A lot of things in the 80s in America, in terms of toys, they look like they did a lot, but they didn't actually function for much. Of course, with this train here, I got schooled. One of my plans when I was a youngster is I had a handful, like maybe 4 of these wheels right here. And I said to myself, well, these are the same wheels that are on the train. I saw them on the box. I can use those for the battery pack, the loaded battery pack around. And you can see I put like 7715 stickers and I horribly placed them on this thing. Fortunately, my mom was kind enough to put the stickers on my train so they look attractive. Not realizing that basically this was a train wheel here with the flanges, and this opposite side here doesn't have flanges. And obviously this doesn't go very well around the tracks. The original wheels that are on these trains are not terribly great, but they're not bad either. I love this set because just the proportions on the engine look amazing. On these wagons, the thing that struck me the most was just like the detailing under the undercarriage, like having the inverted slopes underneath, having the ends of the carriage finished off. It's just something that like enamored me as a child. I remember thinking, like, I knew that this was an entry-level set. I knew that this was not, the real deal, the highest point of this stuff. But yet, this train here seems to be crafted so well, and it's so well thought out, even though it's a smaller train compared to what we have today. But I mean, the thing stands up. People love these trains still to this day. One of the reasons why this train here keeps its value is these beautiful red buffers. This is one of maybe 2 sets that actually had red buffers. All the rest of them have black, or later ones actually had gray, but that was really unique, and it of course went on the 7750 steam engine that's so popular. So as a child, basically, I had this train right here, and fortunately one of the stores is closing locally, and I was able to acquire a number of these tracks here. So for a relatively cheap price. But this is an example of what like a box of tracks looks like. As a child, I actually had no points for this train, so I could just make the most massive loop, and that was kind of the end of my creativity. So you're probably asking, why look like this? And my best explanation is these guys have plastic heads. I'll have a plastic head. And to be honest, I'm impossibly good looking. So I don't want to distract anyone while watching my videos. I want the focus to be on the trains. Going forward, the focus is not going to be 100% on the 12 volt trains. The 12 volts are easily my favorite era of the Lego trains. It's because I aspired to them as a child. They were a mystery to me as a child. Basically, I had to wait 10 years after acquiring this set, or longer, just for the World Wide Web to kind of kick it into high gear and give me pictures, give me what was available, like the whole scope of the 12 volt thing with Lego. So this set here brought on, let's say, curiosity and excitement in my Lego collecting. So on this channel going forward, I'm hoping to have lots of conversations back and forth, with lots of interactions with viewers. But the other thing is I'm going to be showing some just obviously videos of trains rolling on rolling trains on the tracks. Some of the unique mods and mocks I've done. And of course, going through like all the different types of trains, the push trains, the 4.5 volt trains, those lovely trains with the blue tracks back from the 60s and 70s, the 12 volt stuff from the 80s, the 9 volt trains, the short-lived era, the RC trains, and the power function trains that we have today. Kind of want to look at what Lego has done in the past, where we came from. A lot of people will say that, the older trains are ugly, this, that, and the other, but they're obviously the grandparents and parents of the trains we have today with Lego. And for me, I'm an enthusiast. So in addition to the trains, I love the monorail from Lego. And I might just mix in just a tad of airplanes and boats into the collection as well. But I'm hoping to interact with some viewers. I'm hoping to have some questions, answer some questions, and maybe I'll pose a few questions on the videos myself. And I welcome everyone to try and join in and have fun. So remember, folks, it's Lego time.